Joining me now is Larry Lawton, a former jewel thief himself. Although I guess I should say Larry, reformed jewel thief, I'm assuming.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, but still some insight here for us. What do you make of this robbery that happened, in broad daylight? People were in the museum when this happened.
Well, that didn't surprise me. I actually, all of mine, over 25 jewelry stores, $18 million was done during the day. Who were never, you had to plan them. Let me give you just a little insight in that. You take this heist, it was very well planned. They had to know who was going to be near the motorcycles, was cops going. When you case a place like this, you have to know so much. You have to know where the cops are going to be. Like in my case, where the mailman would be coming. Same with here. They knew exactly what time to go in there. They knew where that truck was. So they had inside help. Somebody, it could have been with the construction company that really was working there, or it could have been an employee of the museum. It could have been anybody, but they had to know exactly where to go straight away. They weren't looking for something, they went right to it. Then they had to know they can get through the barrier, the glass or the protection it had. They really missed the boat on security as well. So I'm blaming the Louvre on that. And I think that's what a lot of this is about. They got a lot of mud on their face because they didn't protect stuff that could be ruined forever. And I could get into that if you'd
What
like.
do we know about the jewels that were stolen, how they were, protected in the museum at that time? What was the security around them? How much could they be worth?
Well, obviously, yeah, the only way to know the worth when it's something like this is the actual diamonds and how much carats are and stuff like that. But that's really not what the worth is, obviously. You're taking Napoleon's crown or whoever they are, and it's crazy. Now, as far as the security itself, these museums are missing the boat. I'm telling it straight. They had a robbery a few years back, maybe 3 years back, in Germany with $1 billion in a museum. London, Norway, they're having a lot of these out there. And when you have a commodity like diamonds or gold, where it's more important than cash, because I could put $30 million of diamonds in my pocket. I can't put $30 million in my pocket in cash. So now that's why they robbed $134 million 8 years ago, I think, in the Ritz-Carlton, right, in France. 134 million in a briefcase. Guy walked in and took it. Now, those are planned and inside jobs. So this one has to have some kind of connection. They're going to look at that. And their security is very lax. You're letting, first of all, if you had that much value, you would have a guard watching these construction workers all day. You don't want them to do what happened. Obviously, these guys cased it. They knew what was going to happen. So they have either someone in there or it's an employee in there. I mean, construction person or actually an employee. And that's getting, hey, listen, there's a lot of, just forget that. What about the Mona Lisa? A room away. It was robbed in
Yeah.
2000 in what, 1911. But it's not. Here's why people go after the diamonds and the gold. They can melt it down. They can sell it. They can carry it. They can put it in ears. A lot you can do with diamonds.
I guess
What are you gonna do?
that was my next question, Larry, is what do you do with all of these jewels? Because I imagine, we're talking about it. You've got police everywhere looking for these guys. I mean, there's a lot of people looking for this, so you can't just go out and just sell it.
No, you could never sell. I couldn't even sell a regular piece of it with what they call a signature piece. These are all signature pieces. They can't sell those as is,
So what do you
unless
do?
it's a unless it's a crazy old, some eccentric person that wants to remember the Thomas Crown affair. But anyway, what they're going to do with this is break it down, take every diamond out of that, melt down the gold, and then take the diamonds in, and nobody will ever know where those diamonds came from because they're not marked. They're not what they call Lazar Kaplan, which is laser cut diamonds. They have serial numbers actually in there. You can only see with a 10 powered microscope, but they're not going to have any of that because it's so old. So what they're going to do is break it down, or they can actually go the insurance route. Keep it, let it stay there for a year, let the heat die down. It's going to be forgotten somewhat. Then the museum is going to give out a reward, guaranteed. No questions reward for $1 million, $2 million, whatever they come up with. And I know of people in prison that waited for that.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.